The video is leading Nishmas Shmuel Bach and Chaim Sidov and to Fushlam to Chai Fum Bas Paramia Malka. Yesterday we opened up a can of worms. The idea wasn't to make life difficult, it's actually to make life much more meaningful, because the ikr of life is about changing. Why is that the ikr? Where did I get that from? I was by a bris, actually, one of my very close friends, Zish. So he named the child Yosef Chaim. Spoke about the idea of a bris. What's a bris all about? And the chinuch tells us in a beautiful explanation. In case you have to speak by a bris, the chinuch says like this, and it's actually based on what we wish the child or the parents. We say Kashem shenichnas labris kenikanas l'torah lechupa l'maisim tovim. So there's that, which literally means just like you entered into the bris, you'll enter into chuppah, all different stages of life. One of the questions that the Darshanim say is that this is what we're telling a child. Is imagine turning to a child and saying, "So, how was the experience?" Quite painful. Great. This is the way your life is going to be here on every stage of your life. Obviously, there's a deeper meaning. So the deeper meaning is if you look in the Chinuch says, what's the whole idea of circumcision at all? The idea, the machshava behind it, is the idea that just like physically Hashem gave us the ability to change something in our body and to complete a body to perfection. In fact, it says in the Tosefta and the Gemara that Mila, until Avram didn't have Mila, he wasn't complete. So there's a completion. Women are naturally complete. Shows you another example where women have, so to speak, a higher superiority of perfection. Shosani Kiltsoini, like Schwab says. In any case, the main point here is that the Chinuch says that just like physically we're fixing each other, fixing ourselves, so too we could spiritually fix ourselves. So a person should never think, wait, I'm stuck, I can't change. This is a lot of people sometimes, this is the one thing I can't change. And yet that's really the place where we're supposed to change. Because if there's a challenge, that's where we're supposed to work on. And the more we work on, the more credit we get. So I was saying that when it comes to this month, Elul, like we said, this is the month of change. And we have to do some research. And it's not so difficult. If a person wants to be honest, take one little thing and decide, okay, this is it. This is what I'm going to be working on this month. And I'm going to try to change. Now, when we discussed the idea of asking for forgiveness, and we quoted the Mishabur that says that a person is entitled sometimes not to forgive, it's not something that a person wants to, what I would say is use very easily. I would run away from that, because why? Because if someone is not forgiving when he should be forgiving or she should be forgiving, they are considered now the chayte, and the other person is not a sinner anymore. It's an amazing idea. So that means it's so important to train ourselves to say, wait a minute, if our job is to work on ourselves, so here's a person that hurt me, so he asked for forgiveness or she asked for forgiveness, right? At that point, we want to be forgiving, because the same thing we want for ourselves, and especially it's brought down that when we are forgiving to others, Hashem is forgiving to us. So if there's, like I said, my purpose wasn't my idea of sharing the idea that a person could not forgive. First of all, we said that's not internally. Number two, it was only if there's a benefit. Now, the idea was just to show you how powerful forgiveness is. How powerful, or let's say it even better, how sincere our apology has to be, and real. Because since that's the purpose, we're trying to change ourselves and perfect ourselves and make ourselves better. But not the objective wasn't to show you, wow, next time someone asks for forgiveness, try to make sure that you're entitled, and make sure that you work on yourself, and we should work on ourselves to be forgiving. That's the best. But we should know that it's not so simple, and a person has to work on themselves. So to say sorry is a big thing, and to say it sincerely is a major thing. And here's my amazing son Yonah, and when he gets sometimes, almost never, but if he gets into a fight with his sister, he learns to say sorry. And in fact we said that when a person does anyway, back to us. So I want to leave off with another interesting scenario, because we're going to have to get into the real signs of how do you ask for forgiveness. We'll ask Yonah soon. When a person goes, Shulchan Aruch says you have to go over to the person 3 times with 3 people. and ask mechila. And the question is, first of all, why? My wife had a great question. She said, what do you mean? If you hurt someone on the phone or through WhatsApp or texting, which happens all the time, you can't ask for forgiveness through texting and WhatsApping? Someone asked me another question. What about if it's FaceTime? Is that good enough? So, Bli Neder, we're going to come back to this one. Hatzach to everyone.